It's two steps. It's two steps. So, I always like to look everything like dating, right? Or marriage or sex, because it's easy.
Wow.
Right? There's marriage, right? Which is a massive commitment. And then there's like sex or a sexual encounter, which is like what I call a short-term commitment, right? And then you have like a date, right? Mm-hmm. Or even just getting them on the date. So getting them on the date is like the influence, right?
Mm.
Okay. And seeing them and connecting with them and going on a couple of dates, right? But the persuasion is actually persuading them to actually, I don't know, be your boyfriend or girlfriend or have a sexual encounter or whatever, or persuading them to actually then get married. That's the commitment piece. They're very separate steps. You don't go on a first date with a woman, at least in our country, and go ask them for marriage. You don't do that. I mean, I don't know. Every culture is different. But for me, in America culture, you would never do that. So the influence piece,
right.
That consistency, going on dates and having a good time and getting to know each other.
Mm-hmm. So influence is the first step, and then the persuasion is the second step.
Wow. Yeah.
And I love the way you make an analogy of dating and marriage. And I love the phrase that you use there, be everywhere all the time. And it basically means be omnipresent in a social media world, right? So when that happens, right, when they see us everywhere on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, everywhere, all the time, they will be like, all right, you are everywhere. Just get out of my face already. Just get out of my feed already, right? So what happens is they will go to our profile, they will go to and do some research about us, or maybe just click everything that we post on our posts. And yes, they might get annoyed, but the key is to be present many times, right? To show our face, our brand to them, so that when they turn off their social media, they will still think of us, right? So the key is to be omnipresent and to be persistent, consistent, so that they always know us. They will think of us, know us, and that's how you build an influence.
Yeah, the key is being omnipresent everywhere. Okay, so what the hell does that mean? In today's world, we're paid for our value in the marketplace. So being omnipresent in today's world literally means consistently, constantly posting. So there's 7 rules of influence that Robert Cialdini has talked about in his book Influence. And one of them is commitment and consistency. So that's just one principle. Like let's just say McDonald's right now stops advertising. That would be weird. Even, I haven't had a McDonald's hamburger in like 4 years. Okay. But when I travel around Texas in my car, that's the first place I go to the bathroom or get a coffee or get a soda, because I know they're there. I know they're consistent. I know the quality of the location. I know the quality of the employees. I feel safe there. So I might not buy a hamburger, but I will go there and buy something else or use the facility or whatnot and go there and be a customer, because they have literally ingrained in my brain for the last 25, 30 years of who they are. Same thing with Starbucks, right? So Part of that is it's just like ingrained in your brain.
Yep, that's a good example. I mean, of course, you are trusting someone that you have seen many times, right? Even if you are in the middle of nowhere, right? So that's one of the skills to become an influencer, which is become consistent, right? And since we are talking about becoming an influencer, not a persuader, so Heather, what are the skills that people should master in order to become an influencer?
So there's a couple of skills, but I'll just talk about one today because it's a pretty in-depth skill. So we'll go into understanding how to double down on who you are. So let's talk about that today. So I love the story of like Kathy Griffin or comedians. So comedians like Kathy Griffith or Amy Schumer or Chris Farrell, these are all American comedians. The reason why they're so successful is they did a principle that is known in the comedian world or the improv world, which is a art form for acting. And one of the things they've learned is it's called doubling down on who you are. So when you think of Kathy Griffin or Amy Schumer or Chris Farrell or Eddie Murphy, you have an idea in your head of who their character is. Like there's a character, Richard Pryor, these are all old names, but there's a character to them. Even Kim Kardashian. Okay. Kim Kardashian's a huge influencer. She has created this principle. And the principle is that you want to double down on who you are. Like triple down on who you are. Like that piece of you that you don't want to deal with. That's the piece of you that you want to double down on who you are. Right. So if you're timid, you be like really timid. If you are sweet, like be super sweet. If you're overweight, like double down on your overweight. Like you're just like, this is a part of the character, right? Or like Lizzo, who's a big Grammy winner now in America. She's an overweight Black woman. Well, she doubles down on that. She's an overweight Black woman. You know, she doubles down on that piece, right? Versus acting like she's like a thin white girl. Like she's not that. She's not going to try to be someone she's not. She takes that piece of her that in the artist world probably is not, maybe she was told that it wasn't good. And she says, screw that. And she focuses on that. Makes sense. So you want to, like you being, Malaysian, instead of saying, well, I want to be another race or whatever, or you try to be someone else, like you double down on you're like the Malaysian dude, you're Malaysian A. You like double down on that.
So amplify what you already have, right?
Yeah. You emphasize what you already have and who you are.
Wow. So it's like becoming yourself.